If you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. If you give a man a fishing boat, he's going to be happy forever. Stick around to find out more about bass boats versus deep V fishing boats on today's video. Maybe you already have a fishing boat and you're not sure what your next one is, or you're trying to get into the sport and figure out what the best boat is for you. So do you love to bass fish? Or maybe you're into bass fishing tournaments. Then a bass boat is right for you. They're often made out of fiberglass, although there are some companies that make them in aluminum, and they will be a very low profile, close to the water boat that has two helms, one for the driver and one for the passenger, and two distinct fishing areas. Your bass boat is going to have only storage for things that are fishing. They're going to have dedicated fish rod holders and lockers. They're going to have live wells and bait wells. But beyond that, there's not going to be much room for anything else. And typically speaking, a bass boat is a dedicated 100% fishing machine. It's meant for two people maximum, and it is really all about getting to the bass fishing hole as quickly as possible, being very close to the water so that when you get your strike and you go to land, you're not reaching too far down. Essentially, it is not going to be a great boat for almost anything else. They're fast, they have a very low dead rise, which you can see by this angle attack at the back of the boat. And because of that, they take the high horsepower and produce very quick speeds, anywhere from 50 to 80 miles an hour. Getting to that fishing hole first can be very important, whether you're in a tournament or you just want to have your own piece of the lake to yourself while you're out fishing with your buddy. This boat is not for the recreational boater. It's not for the larger family who wants to go out for a day in the water. It's not for water sports and sunbathing and touring around the lake to check out all the cottages or visit friends. It is strictly a fishing boat, although you can catch any fish from it. Usually you see people who buy a bass boat really are into small or largemouth bass fishing. A deep V or multi-species fishing boat tends to have higher freeboard, so you've got more boat out of the water. It tends to be able to handle rough water better. It will have a deeper V at the transom and be a little bit more universal. Although it is still a true fishing machine, you will often have larger windshields. You'll often have more seating. You'll often have room for 3 or 4 people to fish off of it. And you will see lots of them have that ability to be also a partial recreation or pleasure boat. They may have things like tow bars on them. They may have more creature comforts, slightly more comfortable seating. In a deep V boat, because you have more freeboard and then more depth in the hull because it's a deeper V, you're going to have the ability to have more space for things like a water ski, more life jackets, and even a cooler. So you can get a multi-species deep V fishing boat that is suitable for a small or young family. These boats are almost always aluminum, although there are some fiberglass made, and they will have a slightly lighter boat and usually with a little less horsepower than a comparably sized bass boat. So let's talk about brands. In the bass boat world, you're going to find things like Nitro and Ranger and Skeeter, among others. In the multi-species boats, you're going to find Lunds and Lowe's and Trackers as some of the most popular brands. Price point will be similar if you had the same size of boat and the same engine, although the fiberglass boat typically is going to be a little more expensive, whether it's a multi-species or a bass boat. So typically speaking, a bass boat of a comparable size is a little more expensive because it will be slightly heavier, it will have higher horsepower, and because it's almost always fiberglass, be a little more expensive boat. So if you're looking to stay in budget and keep your family in mind, you're going to want to go deep V or multi-species. There are other styles of fishing boats, and if you want to know more about all the different types of boats, check out this video here where we briefly explain all of them. Thanks for joining us on today's Lens Cove Lessons in Boating, and we'll see you out on the water.